Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Dreamers Game 1, where we are playing Yomi. This is turn 80. Holy shit! So I've been talking about this a little bit off and on for a bit, but Helheim is on the way out, right? We got a donation of owl quills a couple turns ago, and we're getting a donation of more research boosters here. And in fairness, I do want to clarify at this point, this isn't like Helheim just being like, fuck it, you know. Helheim is keeping... Helheim has basically made the statement of, I'm done with all the research that I need. Things are rough for me. I'm probably on my way out. You have been supportive generally throughout the game. We've had a good relationship. This isn't a death basket per se, but here's a bunch of stuff that is no longer useful to me, right? Take it and try to be a thorn in my enemy's sides. So we have received this donation of research boosters, and we might talk about more items later on in the game as Helheim loses more stuff and is unable to utilize certain things, right? The fire gems we are actually trading for, so we'll get to that. But yeah, so we have a whole chunk of stuff that we were receiving from Helheim in trade. So trade, 34 fire, 20 owl quills, and 9 skull mentors. This is going to be a great boon for our research economy, honestly, because you know, we have been perpetually behind from the research scenario. We played a fair amount of catch up, and I think done okay in catching up, but not crazy great. We are still, I would say, behind everyone else in the game. Seems very likely. And this is just going to be nice to help us round that out so we can make use of more mages in our actual battles and go from there. So, anyways, that is that. Now we have a number of remote attacks. As we have moved into... I just talked about this, right? I was like, Urbor doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot against us. I should have shut my damn mouth. Because the mind hunting begins. And for all that I have known that it has been a possibility, I really have not been prepping myself against it. So... Hirofumi the Shura gets mentally attacked by a mage and dies. This is bad. We're gonna actually go here. This is one of my 2 ghost generals that was leading the majority of this army, right? And this is an identical kit. These guys cost 10 death gems. Had a crown of bones, which is another 10. Not worrying about discounts. 5 on the champion's skull. 5 on the horn of valor. So this is basically like a 30 gem situation that we just lost because we didn't bother to worry about their especially low magic resistance as they're walking through an astral nation in the late game. So very disrespectful of me, and I deserve that punishment. So I whoops, my bad. We did get pretty lucky. Rei the Onishugo got targeted by a Mind Hunt but survived, and Tsunemori the Onishugo got targeted as well and survived. So that is pretty nice for us. We have a number of manifestations. So, manifestation 1 in Irmor. We got an augur. Let's see how this goes. Resist cold, I don't think is going to help you there, buddy. And dead. We got another manifestation. This time against a white mage. I love whenever we see these guys because it's like, oh, we popped an Augur Elder. Now we get to really pop it. Get out of here with your Augur Elder, your Twiceborn, your white mage. We're done. That's another one in our book. Manifestation numero tres. A second white mage. Holy shit. My goodness. Okay, we got a hit in. Oh no. We're being stymied. Hand of Death got interrupted. That's good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did he route? Did he fly away? No, he just repositioned. That is crazy. I want to say this. That is crazy. I don't know. So there's a lot of things about this game's AI that kind of annoy me. I've talked at length in the past about these situations where, like, you know, a big target that could absolutely kill a thug or an SC or something like that doesn't walk around behind to smack the target in the back because there's like 5 guys in front of him. That shit's super fucking annoying. That's bad AI. That's bad pathing, whatever, right? Like, that type of shit should be fixed. Absolutely. And this only goes to show that there are the situations where, like, it totally can be fixed too, because this, like, we have had plenty of situations where, like, a AI will get caught, a flyer or something like that, or someone with winged shoes or puts gift of flight up or something like that. They'll get caught and they're engaged in melee, so they will fight. And sometimes, if you have them set onto like a you know, go through this buff cycle and then attack rear, right? They'll get surrounded and fight, and then the you know, the attack rear command will kick in and they'll suddenly fly away and attack rear. So there's some oddities in the pathfinding and the AI decision-making process there that sometimes is really bad and sometimes is really good. And this is one of those cases where it's really good because the Ashen Angel will randomly be like, yeah, I don't care about these things. I want to kill the commander that I am after, right? And I don't know if there's something in the scripting of the AI that makes this individual prioritize the commanders that they're after more than summoned chaff, but it does actually feel like, generally speaking, the Ashen Angels will do that. They will tend to target commanders pretty accurately rather than dropping in on chaff, or they will go so far as to like reposition themselves against commanders sometimes, and it's actually really interesting. I wish more AI did that. I wish more AI in this game seemed to be intelligent, right? In that kind of concept of like decision-making skills, right? In the selection of casting, etc., etc. But I've seen how some of the AI stuff, like you take an example for like, you know, how are spells chosen, and some of the logic makes sense, but some of the logic is just literally higher number goes boom, you know, and that is kind of right, because when you have a whole list of these spells and they have all these different effects and everything like that, and you're like, if in this one situation this mage would decide to use this spell rather than this spell, right, which this is the spell they most commonly use, if they would suddenly be like, oh no, this is a good time for me to use this spell, that would absolutely change the game, right? Like, you would run into different situations where people are like, oh no, now is a great time to use, I don't fucking know, Starfires, right? Like, whatever, right? I normally use Lightning Strike or Lightning Bolt, but now would be a really great time to suddenly use Shock. Again, probably a horrible example, but like, if the AI was savvier in those types of situations, I think this game would have a crazy breath of life to it compared to what it is right now. Because generally speaking, this game has some cool little interactions that you can script, of course, right? But then most of the time the AI is kind of just like, big numbers go brr, right? Like, big numbers go brr, and that's it, right? Like, you're just, what's your hardest hitting thing? You do that. Not like, oh, actually, I'm a smart mage, I have a lot of paths. In this instance, it would be really good to do this thing instead. Anyways, that's tangent 1 for turn 80. Well, welcome to the... God, oh my god, I hate it. Alright, moving on. We took out 2 white mages. That's fucking awesome. We have a ratio this turn on remotes versus Ermor. 5 wins and 1 loss. So, honestly, not too bad, but I should not be losing those mind hunts because I should have already protected my people against those mind hunts. The Shuras, for example, right, especially, it's one thing if I just get an Oni Shugo popped or something like that, but, like, the Shuras are a 10 gold investment or 10 gem investment at the least. I should have amulets of anti-magic on them, or not Starshine skullcaps, lead crowns or whatever, right? There are plenty of things that I could be making to put on them to where they do not have to deal with the issues that they are currently dealing with. And that is dumb of me. So, moving on. We've got a whole host of site searching. I'm going to spoil the ending for you. We got nothing. I'm wasting my gems, but you all have known that for a while. We did get 34 blood slaves this turn, though, so boom. Gem income, 34 blood slaves. Got that. And we got a couple battles. Not many, but we got a couple. We have been attacked in Loreborough by the roving Ether Warrior army. And there's nothing really here. Just kind of... I'm confused. Tangent number 2. I am confused by Ermor's play. Ermor has so many mages, so much stuff. These Ether Warriors are actually dangerous. I think from the very beginning, if Ermor had just uprooted, like, been like, oh shit, you're gonna come at me, Yomi? Alright, fine, fuck you, let's go. And just marched at me with a 500 stack and a shit ton of mages and blah 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 blah. It would have taken so much potentially from me to stop that. I think they probably just would have just killed me, right? I say that. I think I have a couple of good counters that I could have used against them. But I honestly do think that Ermor had the ability at the beginning of this war to fuck me up, if not outright win. And they just haven't done anything with the tools that they have. With the massive armies, with the crazy amount of mages that they have. They just haven't done anything with them. And that's really honestly unfortunate. We fought again. So that's the only battle we have against Ermor. Is just them marching around, because we didn't have any real big attacks last turn. We do have 2 attacks versus Indies. We attack Jabero, where we got pushed off by some villains last turn. This massive Ko-Oni versus that amount of villains. It's funny. So, again, they will do... Villains, actually, with their short bows, will pop the shit out of Ko-Onis in their base form. But it just puts them in a spirit form, which makes them all but impossible to kill for the villains, and then they just get mulched as soon as the lines meet. So we lost 7 out of that, so not too bad. And then we get attacked in Belmar by more villains. But in Belmar, this is where we were potentially going to intercept the Ether Warrior stack, which this would not have faced off well against them, right? So here's a stream of skeletons. Like I said, I think if I had done previously, if I brought in the other 2 Dionis and the the liches and had them doing skeletons and or attacks, then this would absolutely be like a different situation. But they're cutting you off. Oh shit! Huh, fuck, hit. All right, that was fun. Okay, killed them all there. So battles this turn, we have 1 loss versus Ermor actually, and 2 wins versus Indies. Pretty simple turn for that. Events. Population event, rebirth event in Golem range. We were attacked in Belmar by villains, and then in Grey Mountains, an ancient treasure has been unearthed. Gold plus 522. Nice. That's all that's really happening there. So let's jump out into things. The world. Stuff is happening. Not a whole lot to talk about there. But we have been moving one of our Sea Kings over towards Yomi. Potentially have a plan. I might send the Sea King out towards the Lake of Living Water. I might kit him out. But for now, I'm mostly just wanting a water caster in the Yomi area just to be able to do water buffs if I so choose. I might actually try to do something. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. We're going to go pick up this army. We're going to continue to move this army towards Jan Keep. We're attacking into Color Megger, again with this stupidly low commitment army, and I hate it. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. We have snuck over into Urfel. We're going to raid that this turn. And if we do actually take Urfel, right, we're also sneaking it and attacking onto God's Tomb and onto Zox. So we're basically trying to lock down the remainder of what Urmor has, right? The only threat that they have put to the field is this Ether Lord stack. It's probably going to catch out some of our stuff here or there and whatever. As long as we don't take massive casualties or lose 50,000 Dione, then it's whatever, right? At this point, the way that it feels like things are happening is it feels like Urmor is not playing in a way that they want to engage with me. So we're just going to take everything from them and then take the capital, probably. Until they show otherwise. That's the plan. Anyways, let's go through recruitment and rituals and stuff like that. Recruitments, we actually have a fair amount of recruitment this turn. We are doing 4 Oni Shugo, 1 Dione, and 2 Lizard Shamans. So this is just because we got a gold event. We have a lot of gold to spare. As I said previously, Oni Shugos are, they're not great for research, but at this point in the game, even though we are still very behind the curve of research, we're not, it is what it is. Our research has jumped up a lot this turn because of the Owl Quills and specifically the Skull Mentors. So that's really nice. But basically, it's just, I think it's a better use of our cash to produce Onishigos at this point because they're better battle mages. So, Horde of Skeletons and Disintegrate, basically. And little mini thugs. So, yeah. Rituals! Let's talk about this. And then the Dione and the Lizard Shamans. We just good. Dione, of course. Lizard Shamans, good mages, communions. Go for it. Rituals. Let's talk about this. 1 Augury, 2 Auspex, 2 Voice of Apsu, 1 Gnome Lore, 1 Arcane Probing, 1 Dark Knowledge, 1 Haruspex, 9 Corpse Constructions, because I think I've basically admitted to myself that I'm never going to stop doing that. 1 Curse of Blood, and 1 Ghost General. So, nothing really surprising in that, honestly, except for my waste of air gems. But we're replacing the Ghost General that we lost. We're Curse of Blooding every time we have the ability to Curse of Blood. So kind of that is what it is. Pretty simple. Forging, we are doing 1 Crystal Coin, 6 Amulets of Anti-Magic, and 3 Lodestone Amulets. I wonder why. No. I mean, we paid a price for being dismissive and disrespectful. So now we're gonna build a bunch of MR items and have those accessible to put on mages that are in range, which we actually have a lot of mages that we don't want to lose that are in range. Like Olga, right? She's a 15 MR mage. Easily be sniped by fucking Mindhunt. And she's easily in range of Mindhunters from Urmor, right? So we've got a fair number of mages. In point of fact, right, like in that vein, we put a Amulet of Anti-Magic on Volde, right? Because we don't want to lose these individuals. So, and same thing for Idhi, our other Troll King that's over here, right? So, we're gonna mass produce a bunch of Amulets of Anti-Magic. We're not doing anything else with our Astral Pearls anyways. supplement those on the occasion with things like lodestone amulets, the lead crowns, lead shields, things like that. All easy items to be able to throw onto individuals. So, for example, right, like this Shura, a better kit, because we know now what we did not know then, that the champion skull basically does not work for what we were thinking. We were wanting it to add more undead leadership to us, but this does not work that way. So this is worthless. Put an amulet of anti-magic on him instead, right? That bumps us up to... Are those 4? Those are 4 resistance, right? Yeah, they're +4. So that puts him up to an 18, which is pretty good. The Crown of Bones is actually a bad item. We want to keep the Horn of Valor because that's inspirational. Crown of Bones is actually a bad item. I realize that now in hindsight, right? Like, or a bad item for this situation because we want better morale and undead leadership. So instead of doing that, we should be making Rod of the Leper King, right? Undead command +50, so 25 less than the Crown of Undead command, but no malice to inspiration. The only issue is it does disease you, but a Shura King or a Ghost General is fucking undead, so they don't care about diseases, right? So not affected by disease. So we should be using that, and then we would be giving a +1 rather than a +0. Right, I say +0. Actually, I mean the plus is, yeah, it's a +0 right now because of the -1/+1 and because of the undisciplined. So normally, they would have a +1 leadership. That's countered by the undisciplined feature, right? And then we would be giving them a +1 from the Horn of Valor, but that's countered by the Crown of Bones. So, you know, we have better gear that we could be utilizing on these individuals to protect them. We should have, like, these guys are carting around troops, right? They should have gear to prevent them from getting mind hunted, just like this, so that, you know, we don't have to worry about these inconsistencies in our troop transports. So honestly, really simple, and something that is really, really, really in our reach, right? Like, we have plenty of Earth Gems and Astral Gems, plenty of Earth Gems, plenty of Astral Pearls. So yeah, and honestly, that's kind of it. I say kind of it. We are sending Water Gems to Helheim, in an effort to try to. That's part of what we're paying for the Fire Gems. Or actually, I think that's all of what we're paying for the Fire Gems because they're being very generous, and we're basically trying to insist that we don't want to just take things from them, right? So I was like, what will help you? And they're like, hey, give us some Water Gems. That'll potentially help, right? So there you go. And yeah, we'll see how the next couple of turns unfold. The hope, the desire is that we can finish off Ermor quickly without major losses. Helheim can continue to repel Lanka and Ubar as best as they can. And in point of fact, if things go well, as Ermor or as Helheim is dying, we might be able to snag some of these border provinces from them. Maybe even take things like Pestena, right? And be like, okay, now Helheim is done. Now we are a force to contend with. Ubar is a force to contend with. Lanka is a force to contend with. And we see what happens into the late game. And hopefully this doesn't do another Tetragrammaton situation, because oof. Although I've learned a lot of things about the game from Tetragrammaton, so you know what? We put on our going back to school hats, I guess. Whatever. That's gonna be it for this turn. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.